The FR0ST-EE5 boots were introduced in Rise of Iron as one of the new exotic armor pieces for the Hunter class. They finally fixed the bug on them that reduced your discipline to 0, so I can finally get this video out. For the rest of the review, I'll be calling them the Frosties because I'll be damned if I'm going to let all those years of learning Leet speak go to waste. And that's how it's actually pronounced. The Frostie's signature perk will increase the turning radius while sprinting, and also charge your grenade and melee cooldowns faster while sprinting. How fast does it charge your melee and grenade? Well, as a rule of thumb, whatever your cooldown is on your ability, the Frosties will reduce it by half, assuming you use the ability and then run around until you regain it. If you like numbers, it means it's a 50% cooldown reduction while running. As far as the turn radius goes, it's actually jarring how quickly you turn. Normally, you have time to comprehend the sights while running with the thumbstick jammed all the way to the left or right, but with the Frosties on, it's pretty much your washer's spin cycle engaged at overdrive. For other notes, the effect on the boots will stay active as long as you are running. You can still jump and spin around, but if you stop to reload or really just slow down past sprint speed, then you will no longer have the effect up. As a side note, pairing these with Memory of Fellwinter is highly recommended, but there's one small drawback. If both charges of an ability are on cooldown, the first one to recharge will go at the normal pace. The second charge, however, is slowed. This is a property of things that give you double ability charges. This is just something that you're going to have to be aware of when using Memory of Fellwinter in conjunction with the Frosties. So, let's see how these perform in PvP. I'm first off going to recommend that you use the Frosties with either the Night Stalker or Blade Dancer subclass. It can work with Gunslinger, but I feel like Gunslinger already has ample cooldown reduction help in the form of the Scavenger talent. Not to mention that Gunslinger doesn't really have any extra movement options, so Bones of Ao will probably work a little bit more, in my opinion at least. Frosties can totally work with Gunslinger, but I personally feel like there are better options already. On a Night Stalker, these are quite possibly one of the most powerful exotics. This is solely based on their ability to make sure you have a smoke bomb up for almost every single encounter. Smoke bomb is probably one of the strongest grenades in the game since it blinds better than a flashbang grenade, does more consistent damage, and locks out areas of the map for extended periods of time. I truly believe that these are worth using over the Graviton forfeit for a Night Stalker as well. The wombo combo of the grenades and smokes is just so damn good, and having that up more often cannot be understated. For Blade Dancer, I actually really enjoyed these as well. For double skips, I actually like running the Fellwinter's artifact over the Shinobu's Vow since I'm getting my skip grenades up more consistently. Plus, having your melee up more often is great for hungering blade regens or more backstabs. Flux grenades are also a good option as well with these if you want to be especially annoying. You never realize how much you run around in PvP until you see that little buff come up in the corner of your screen. Since you typically run from choke point to choke point, or quickly run in to get in close range with people, you will constantly be making use of these boots in the background. Plus, if you're ever in a pinch, you can totally just sprint around in place quickly to get some abilities back up. I know pairing these with Memory of Fellwinter is really good, but I also really like these with the Memory of Yolder, since that takes away the cooldown to make you start sprinting. The reduction in turn radius is the only real thing you'll have to get used to. You don't realize how alarming it is to turn quicker while sprinting until you can actually try these boots out. The natural turn speed is almost ingrained into my muscle memory, so when I turn faster than normal, I think my sensitivity is jacked up really high or something. Once you get used to it though, it ends up being a wonderful way to quickly outmaneuver opponents. Instead of jumping to change direction, you can quickly just turn. The field of view is so low in Destiny that oftentimes people just can't tell where you are in these close quarter engagements. It won't come up often, but the faster turn speed really does make a difference and is totally worth getting used to these for that effect. In PvE, I feel like these are just a fantastic baseline exotic to run for all subclasses. Every hunter spec has meaningful grenades, and these will serve as a wonderful tool to make sure you always have a grenade up when you need it. In PvE, there's a lot of running around that you don't realize that you do as well. Run in to revive a fallen teammate, run to get to cover between waves of adds, run to pick up that ammo brick. By no means should you be running just to make use of the cooldown, but it's kind of like a global scavenger perk for your subclasses. You'll make use of it even when you don't notice you are. I kind of doubt you'll be making any serious use of the tighter turn radius in PvE though. It's extremely rare that you need to have crazy reactionary movement in any PvE activity. The only other PvE relevant exotic that works well for all subclasses that can measure up to the Frosties is probably the Skyburner's Annex Helm. That one wins out for raids in my opinion, since your raid team is more likely to keep using supers off those orbs, and you're generally in a more condensed area. For running strikes though, the Frosties wins hands down, since oftentimes teammates are far too spread out enough that they won't find the orbs, plus you progress through a strike more often and orbs will be left behind. And alright, that about does it for the review. I hope you found some of the information helpful. I'll see you next time.